Hello, welcome to The Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. This is the Age of Sigmar Stat Center, where every Monday, me and the Twitch chat look at all the event results from the Age of Sigmar events that have happened around the world. We discuss the list, the trends, and also try and bring the community together a little bit in the competitive space, as well as the competitive space is really the event space. Don't let them tell you that it's not. And then we have a look at the list and we talk about it and try and bring the community together, as well as maybe identify the coolest, hottest, and sexiest new lists available in Age of Sigmar. So we're going to dive straight in, start looking at some events, and I hope you like the video. So our first event is taking us to Lanasher Legion GT. Actually, if we go and look our list of events, we can see that we've had 323 players playing this weekend across 14 events in 8 different countries, which is super exciting. However, this list of events is always collated by the wonderful statman Warhammer Rob, different Rob to me, the better Rob. You can see he's abused his powers to put his event at the top of the pile, prompting us to produce this image. Power does corrupt, absolutely. So be aware of that. Anyway, if we go look at his 16-person event, their first 2-dayer being located in the Midwest of England, or as we like to call it, Chorley. Chorley FM coming in your ears. And then we have 16 people battling it out with no 5-0s, but our first 4-1 is Stephen Coombs with his Fire Slayers. He was running a Scales of Voltrix and then the Magmic Invocations, and he was running an Auric Runefather on Magmadroth, an Auric Runeson, a Runeson on Magmadroth, another Auric Runeson on Magmadroth, another Auric Runeson on Magmadroth, an Auric Runesmiter on Magmadroth, an Auric Runefather on Magmadroth, and a Runeson on Magmadroth. And if you aren't keeping track, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Magmadroths running forward, just being hot and jumping on people. Very effective. They're all Control 5. It's a new form of monster. Yeah, it's the new monster trucks. I was about to say that. Gargants, but in disguise. In second place, another Fire Slayers. Now, this list was slightly different. This is Warrior Kimbad. It had an Auric Runefather, a Runeson, not on Magmadroths, then a reinforced unit of Berserkers with Broadaxes, a Rune Master, a Grimwrath Berserker, and then another reinforced unit of Berserkers with Broadaxes, a Rune Smiter, another unit of Berserkers with Broadaxes, and then another Grimwrath Berserker, and Gottrick Gunranson. It's a lot of support pieces. It's a ton of bodies on the board. It's going to fight really well. It's super excellent. Double Fire Slayers, not mad about that. And also nice to see both Fire Slayers players in the world get together. Maybe there's like a support group, a WhatsApp group where they all get together and hang out with each other. Thank you to Gex Paradise also for donating a $5 to the show. Very much appreciated. All right. And then Tom Molt was running Slaves to Darkness, and he had a God's Wrath Warband, and he had a Be'lakor, Reinforced Unit Chaos Chosen, Chaos Warriors, Raptorix, and Reinforced Unit of Varangard. The Chosen also had the Dread Banner. Super effective, super good, very, very strong. Special shout out to the Lanasher Legion. If you are based around Chorley, Blackpool, any of those areas, and you are able to read and write, then please do contact the Lanasher Legion. They would love to get more people coming to their 2-day events up there, and you should go do so. Our next event is our biggest event of the weekend, with 40 players in the USA down in Texas for the Slambo for a Cause Grand Tournament event. 40 people's attending in a giant warehouse, definitely to Europeans like mall in Texas, San Antonio, to be specific. Organized by Tyler Rabb. We have only one 5-0, and it is Soulblight Gravelords, which is old Soulblight Gravelords, not new Soulblight Gravelords. So shout out to Joe Carnwright from the Weirdcast for using them, but we're not going to be breaking it down because we don't need to, because it's the old book. Now, looking at the 4-1s, we have a nice and diverse list. Slaves to Darkness, Lumineth Realmlord, Stormcast Eternals, Ogre Tribes, Blades of Khorne. You'll love to see it. Let's look at the list, shall we? First, our Slaves to Darkness list is Be'lakor, Eternus, and this is a Legion of the First Prince army as well. So then we've got Bloodletters and Bloodletters, both of which are reinforced. A Centurion Marshal, 2 Chaos Furies, and the Legion of the First Prince, Flamers of Tzeentch. So this is becoming a little bit more popular, Legion of the First Prince army, as people are starting to put those demons on the board. Also, potentially the demon prices go down because it's not played that much. Depends how much Games Workshop wants to be affecting this army of renown. Adam Burke was running a Lumineth Realm Lord's Hurricane Temple. It had Severith, Hurricane Wind Chargers ×2, but not reinforced. A Venari Lord Region, a reinforced unit of Dawn Riders, 2 small units of Dawn Riders, and an Enlightener. So a kind of MSU, very fast, very mobile army. There is some limited shooting. Definitely that big brick of Dawn Riders doing something very impactful in there. Morbid Conjuration also taken. But you've got a load of really fast units. So being able to grab objectives feels good. Tactics, definitely easy peasy. Nick Swope was running a Stormcast Eternals, a Sentinels, the Bleak Citadels list with Karazai, Reinforced Unit Castigators, Lord Terminos with the Quicksilver Draft, Praetors and Reclusians, then a Knight Arcanum, 2 Quest of Soulsworn, and some Stormstrike Paladors as well. Now that's very interesting. And again, a little bit more chill there. Not necessarily like the overt Stormcast list we've seen. Karazai still obviously excellent. Castigators, definitely a hot pick right now. The effectiveness or efficiency of them is considered to be very good. And obviously that old Quicksilver Draft Terminos Reclusians combo. Then Ryan Givens was running a Ogre Mole Tribes list, which was Beast Handlers, which was a Frostalon Stonehorn, a Huskarl Stonehorn, a Stonehorn Beast Riders, a Thundertusk Beast Riders, and then Kragnos and a unit of Stonehorn Beast Riders. It works so well. You put it on the board, you throw it at people, you're done in under 2 hours. You can spend a lot of time thinking about what you're doing, but there's real economy in how you're thinking about the game, which is excellent. Then Dylan Corcoran was running a Blades of Khorne Bloodbound Warhorde list with the Judgments of Khorne, obviously. And he had the Mighty Lord of Khorne, the Aspiring Deathbringer, a Slaughter Priest, 3 small units of Wrathmongers, a Rumgor Ritualist, a reinforced unit of Blood Warriors, a reinforced unit of Wrathmongers, Scarblood Wrath, and Claws of Karnak. So that Blood Warriors brick we've been talking lots about, but those Wrathmongers, we said we'd end up seeing Whoops or Wrathmongers, and we are seeing it here, even with the points increase in the last battle scroll, super effective. I'm pretty certain this event was being run for charity or to help some people. Yeah, the charity Grand Grab tournament. So I hope they raised a ton of money for the charity they're working for. Great group of people in Texas playing Warhammer. If you get a chance to go play with them, you should. Just to be clear, I did somehow miss the Khorne ROR. Specifically the Gargant ROR that was used, the Stumblefoot one, in the Khorne list. So I just want to say a special thank you to Jekyll. Don't hide in the chat for pointing that out to me. So there was also a little cheeky Gargant ROR as well. Our next event takes us to Norway for the Nidaros Grand Tournament, organized by Marco. Shout out to Marco, with 40 players, 40 players, battling it out to be the champs. Also got some great pictures from the event you can see here. Pretty cool. It was held at a beautiful location, a lovely little like small village, but in a building that wasn't built yet, according to Google Maps. Anyway, some really fun pictures. Here you can see some bones, not some bone splitters, but 2 gears battling it out, which is really fun. It was also inside of a sports hall where no outdoor shoes were allowed. So it was very either like shoes off or comfy flip-flops time, if you're excited about that sort of thing. So you got a lot of no shoe action here. So fun for a bunch of perverts on the internet. But yeah, obviously a great time going playing Warhammer. Right, we go look at the list. We can see we've only got 1 5-0, and it's Newt Videld with Sylvaneth. That's not what I think a lot of people would be expecting. He's running the Morbid Conjuration Lords of the Clan with Alariel, Kurnoth Hunters with Kurnoth Scythes, Belthanos, Branch Witch, Warsong Revenant, and a Tree Lord Ancient, which is becoming even more popular, going down to 240 points. It's a lot of monsters. You can put on objectives. It's a lot of fighting you can do, and you can return a lot of it back from the dead, obviously, which is very, very effective. And you've got some really strong spellcasting in the Warsong and Alariel. Right, looking at the 4-1s, we can see that Simon was running a Vanguard Wing Stormcast Eternals army, was running Karazai, Praetors, Vanguard Paladins with Starstrike Javelins, and Vanguard Raptors with Longstrike Crossbows, both reinforced. Knight Arcanum, some Vigilers, a Lord Relictor, and some Vanquishers. So some very good shooting, 2 really good combat pieces, and a lot of support pieces for tactics. Pretty common AOS list style at the moment. Givendeld was running a Slaves to Darkness list in the God's Wrath Warband. He's running a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, Chaos Knights that were reinforced, small Chaos Knights, reinforced unit of Chaos Warriors, that DPT check, damage per turn check coming in, pretty key there. They're getting more and more popular. Chaos Lord and Demonic Mount, Chaos Chariot, and then 2 more units of Chaos Knights. So very MSU, very tough to get rid of all of those wounds on those good saves on the Chaos Knights. But 3 small units of them running around, and then the big unit of Chaos Knights for pinning, really going to make it a real problem to score points to the opponent. So maybe more about making your opponent not score points than you necessarily scoring points. Syndra was running a Flesh Eater Courts Lords of the Mana list with a Manifested Insanity. He had Ushran, Crypt Haunt Courtier, 2 reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights, then an Abhorrent Cardinal, Grand Justice Cormain, another unit of Morbeg Knights, and Royal Beast Flayers. So it does seem, even though there's been a massive nerf to both how you recur the Morbeg Knights and also a points increase, hasn't really stopped them doing super well. Then we can see Jon Olav was running a Sons of Behemoth Breaker Tribe list with King Brod, the Beast Smasher Mega Gargant, the Man Crusher Gargant, War Stomper Mega Gargant, and 3 Man Crusher Mega Gargants. Oh, sorry, Little Gargants, which does prove even the fantastic Norwegians sometimes can't make great decisions about what armies to play. But Brod did get a nerf in the Battle Scroll update, hasn't changed how effective they are. And then Stian was also running a Stormcast Eternal Sentinels of Bleak Citadel list with Karazai, Griffhands, Lord Imperator, Praetors, Krondis, Lord Terminos, Praetors, reinforced unit of Reclusians, all in a list. So Krondis and Karazai and a unit of Reclusians, super cheap, very effective. Are you going to be able to fight the Double Dragon? Probably not. Our last 4-1 was Gijim with a Flesh Eater Courts Lords of the Mana list, running Ushran, reinforced unit of Crypt Horrors, 2 reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights, and Abhorrent Gore Warden, Crypt Flayers, and Grand Justice Gourmet. So very similar to the other list. Again, really proving that nerf hasn't done quite as much as maybe Games Workshop would want, but maybe that would have been a 5-0 if the Battle Scroll hadn't changed it. Anyway, if you get the chance to go over to these Norwegian events, there's so many great ones. They've got such an active, healthy community. If you get a chance to go over there, you should. Our next event is the Moonshine Remix Final Ignition, organized by Emil Cruz. It takes place in Tijuana, Mexico. And I think a bunch of the US guys maybe travel south to this event. So it's kind of a big event with 30 players battling it out in the Hong Kong Gentlemen's Club in Tijuana, Mexico. It did also say on the event that you did get a free dance with entry. So please, in the comments, leave what you think of going to this event. I'm sure they'll be organizing it again. They have held 2 at this venue before. Let me know what your thoughts are. So, looking at the event results, we can see that Eugene Averin with Cruel Boys was our only 5-0. He was running a list called Hey Games Workshop, Look What the Proper Big War Should Look Like. It was a Law of the Swamp with the Manifestations Gorkamorka, with Kragnos, a Killer Boss and Corpse Ripper Vulture, 7 Monster Killers, well, a unit of Monster Killers 3 times, and then a Breaker Boss on My Brute Troggoth, Swamp Caller Shaman Potgrot, and then the Hurtling Hogs, the Regiment of Renown, which is a Tusk Boss on Moor Grunter and the Moor Grunter Gougers. Very fantastic. Very cool. Nice little mix. Mainly Cruel Boys in there, but obviously Kragnos and also the Orcs making up nearly over 50% actually. Or no, actually bang on 50% of the points for this list to make it work. So very cool to see. So if we look at the 4-1s, we can see that Jerome was running a Bloodbound Warhorde with the Judgments of Khorne. He had a Mighty Lord of Khorne, a Bloodsecrator, Rumgor Rich List, Cause of Karanak, 2 units of Wrathmongers, Karanak, Scarblood Wrath, Slaughter Priest, a unit of Blood Warriors, the Claws of Karanak, and a reinforced unit of Wrathmongers. So again, those Wrathmongers. Now, you might be asking yourself, why are you seeing so many Wrathmongers now when we saw the points go up in the last Battle Scroll? Well, the points went down pretty drastically in the Battle Scroll around Christmas time. 4 months isn't a huge amount of time to paint up 20, 30 Wrathmongers. That's quite a lot of minis to paint in that time and then get yourself to an event. So I think we're really starting to see that production meta come into its own, which I think is quite interesting. The Maldad Puto, make sure I've got that right. Yes. Maldad Puto was running a Sacrosanct Convocation Stormcast Eternals list with the Lord Celestial Stardrake, Grifthounds, Valexa, 2 reinforced units of Sequitors, which obviously got that massive points drop, a Drakesworn Templar, 2 units of Praetors, and Vindicators. Also, Star Drake, still probably one of the best picks in Stormcast. Super effective, great anti-meta. Trish was running a Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels Stormcast list as well, with Ionis Cryptborn, who's had that big buff since the Battle Scroll update. Annihilators great with Meteoric Grand Hammers, which is amazing because I said that we're going to start seeing those. They got a big points drop, much more effective now. 380 points, reinforced unit that's going to absolutely slap. Annihilators with Meteoric Grand Hammers again, but a smaller unit. Gardas, Vanguard Raptors, Longstrike Crossbows, Lord Imperator, and then another unit of Annihilators with Meteoric Grand Hammers and some Vigilers. Fantastic. They are so back. Well, shout out to Trish for doing an incredible job there. That's good. Well done for proving that point right. That's excellent. I love to see that. Listen, that's one of the easiest armies you can put together, right? Just a bunch of dudes with Grand Hammers, smashing face. You'll have a great time. Brian Cox was running a Osseo, Bone Reapers, Mortars, and Council list. It's quite a large story built into his list, which we won't read today. Then he's got Catacross, Mortek Guard, Mortars and Soulmason, Reinforced Unit Morghast Archive, and then the Regiment Renowned, the Summer King's Entourage, which is Crypt Guard, Morbeg Knights, and Ushran in the list as well. So he's gone Catacross, Ushran, fighting it out. Absolutely fantastic. A special shout out to Brian Cox. Then Shane Lambert was running a Skaven list in Thanquol's Mutated Menagerie, with Thanquol on Bone Ripper, Brood Terror, Rat Ogres that were reinforced, Storm Fiends that were reinforced, and then a Master Molder, and then 2 Hell Pit Abominations. It's a pretty fantastic result. Normally you see the Mutated Menagerie, which is the battle formation, but Thanquol's Mutated Menagerie, if I've got that right, is the Army of Renown. Storm Fiends took a big hit recently, but you've still got a lot of monsters there to contend with, all in the same spot, which is very, very cool. And then Matt, the Nuge, was running a list called the Beast of Chaos Charges Baby, which is a Beast of Chaos Marauding Brayhorde army with a Doom Bull, a reinforced unit of Bulgors, and a Gorgon. Then a Great Bray Shaman, a reinforced unit of Bestigors, and some Ungors. Then a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and a reinforced unit of Dragon Ogres, which obviously came down in points recently, which is very cool to see. Very cool. Like, very tough to play, especially when you start playing with the Dragon Ogres and the Shaggoth, the Bulgors. This is not all Bestigor. This is very different. It's very cool to see a 4-1 with this list. Very, very exciting. And also, I'm really hopeful that people keep letting people play, as I'm going to do, Beast of Chaos after the summer cutoff date, because I think it's fine. It's nice to see. Shout out to the Nuge. I hope everyone had a great time. I'm sure you had your hands full. And then let's go look at the next event. Our next event takes us to the USA for the Age of Sigmar Warpstone Wars GT event, with 28 people battling it out, being located at the fantastic Fabricators Forge, which is located in an old fire station. I love this venue. I think it's very cool, on a very fun street in Pennsylvania, if you get a chance to go. It was organized by the Store Ringer. Great work on his part. And our only 5-0 was Uwin Mali with a Seraphon army. So Croak's Crustaceous Crackheads is the name of the list, which is a Sunclaw Star host of the Krunspine Incarnate, with Croak, reinforced unit of Agrodon Lancers and reinforced unit of Croxagore, an Astaroth Bannerbearer, reinforced unit of Saurus Guard, a Skink Star Priest, Huntsel Haunchief of Starstone Bowlers, and some Terror Wings. Croak is still back. Everything in Seraphon is still good. I'd say it's a really solid list, but very hard to play, or harder to play than some of the other lists. Ben Kloss is running a Tzeentch list with the Zangor Coven and the Manifestations of Tzeentch, Zangor Shaman, Curseling, Zangor Skyfires, double Zangor Reinforced, Zangor Shaman, and 2 Zangor Enlightened or Disc, and a reinforced unit of Zangor again, taking you up to 60 Zangor. Now, one of the things I like about this list is it plays very aggressively into how solid Zangor can be and have been for Tzeentch over the course of Age of Sigmar 4's life. Obviously, horrors are either slightly too cheap or maybe a little bit too expensive, but either way, they still do very well as well. But at the early stages of Age of Sigmar 4, Zangor and Zangor builds were very popular, and for some reason they dropped off. It's nice to see these back, because I still think that they're very solid, as Ben has proven here. Scott Dielman was running a Deepkin list called Hooked on an Ealing. Excellent name. With the Achillean Beastmasters. He had Eidolon, Aspect to the Sea, Morsar Guard that were reinforced, 2 small units of Morsar Guard, and then another reinforced unit of Morrsar Guard, and then a Soul Scryer, and then 2 units of Reavers, which is pretty uncommon at the minute. No Turtle is very interesting. Very, very interesting. But double Reavers, lots of shooting available to this army. A little bit different to what we have seen, but still, as we've talked about before, Deepkin, low pick rate, really high win rate, very effective. Jude Suvak also running Ironeth Deepkin with Achillean Beastmasters, Aspect of the Storm, an Ishling Guard unit, a Leviathan, and a Morrsar Guard unit that was reinforced, and an Aspect of the Sea, an Alapex, and an Alapex. Now, those Alapexes are becoming more popular. They got a little bit of a points reduction, but those the ability that is not once per army across, I'm pretty certain it's not once per army, from their shooting attack, which reduces charge ranges, is being brought in as a utility piece. And I think a lot of people are really excited about how effective they are. Maybe it's not quite as good as just going for more eels or maybe another turtle, but it definitely adds a lot of utility into some armies, makes them very effective, so that's cool. Then we have Sean Cansir, who was running a Khornate Legion Judgment of Khorne army with a Bloodmaster of Khorne, reinforced unit of Bloodletters, a Skull Taker, a Bloodstoker, reinforced unit of Skull Reapers, then a Bloodthirster and Fetid Fury, and then a Blood Crushers and a Slaughter Priest. Now, obviously, I think with the way Blood Tithe works, being able to get that Bloodthirster back if it does die, and using the Unfettered Fury one to be able to get in there, do some fighting is really good, while the rest of your army does other stuff. But a big unit of Bloodletters and a big unit of Skull Reapers are also some fairly heavy hitters in this list. So it's quite interesting. I think Khorne is in a really good place, actually. Just harder to play, but they're becoming more and more popular as people are realizing that they are quite smashy and they are quite fun. Hope everyone had fun at the event. Let's look at the next one. Our next event takes us to New Zealand for the AOS at Valleycon event being held, I think, here in Upper Hutt, Wellington, somewhere around here. 28 players battling out, and our only 5-0 was Stefan Mandic with Stormcast Eternals. Stefan was running a Vanguard wing list with the Crunspine Incarnate, a Karazai, a unit of Praetors, unit of Vanguard Paladors with Shock Hand Axes, and Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows, and Arcanum, Quest of Soulsworn, and some Vigilers. So not too different to what we've seen, obviously, before, although the Shock Hand Axes is a different loadout to what we normally see with the Star Strike Javelins. Fun to see. Absolutely excellent. If we go look at the 4-1s, we can see that Alex Sinclair was running Daughters of Cain, especially after their hot performance a couple of weeks ago. Running the Scath Coven, Marathi Cain, then a Melisite Iron Scale, 2 units of Blood Sisters, and then the Hag Queen, Doomfire Warlocks, and 2 units of Cainite Shadow Stonkers. Now, what's important about that is, again, this is very different to the Witch Elf build we've seen before. I think Daughters of Cain are tough to play. This is also a much more achievable hobby army, but very effective, a strong combat choice, very cool. Callum Brown was running Skaven and got our last 4-1 with a list called the Stormfriends we made along the way. He was running a Thanquol's Mutated Menagerie, second time this week, everyone, with Primal Energy. Thanquol and Bone Ripper, Hell Pit Abomination, Master Molder, reinforcing of Storm Fiends. Then a Master Molder, Rat Ogres, and another unit of Storm Fiends, which is interesting because obviously we saw Storm Fiends take both the points and rules nerf, but Skaven players have definitely clocked onto the fact that these are just very, very effective bully units for Skaven, and they're doing really well with them. Thanquol and Bone Ripper as well, it seems to be a key element of that. Everyone's having a really great time with these, and they are very effective. The New Zealand community is absolutely brilliant. They're just such a great group of people. Obviously, it's a bit silly to say if you get a chance to go over there, you should. But if you are in New Zealand, special shout out to you. You've got such a long Age of Sigmar tradition. You've had such a big, healthy community for such a long time. I hope there's a bunch of it seems like there's a bunch of new people playing as well, which is really fun. Hope you're enjoying it, and more strength and love to you, and hope it keeps growing and getting bigger. Our next event takes us to the USA and Lexington, Kentucky. I don't know if it's a new game spot, but there's a spot, like I say, in Lexington called Chaotic Good, Coffee, Comics, and Games. So if you are around that area, you want to go check it out, you should. A couple of people in the chat are saying they've been there and they think it's fantastic. So get a chance. Also, just down the street is a karaoke bar. So Saturday, play some Warhammer, go sing some karaoke. That feels like a good time. Anyway, looking at the event results, we've only got 150, and it's by my good friend and a fantastic person, Nick True, but he is playing Sons of Behemoth, so he does suck. Quite an impressive level of penmanship for a Sons of Behemoth player. Nick True's list was a Taker tribe list running the Kronspine Incarnate. He had a Gatebreaker, another Gatebreaker. He had a third Gatebreaker, and then he had the Regiment of Renown, Braggots, Bottle Snatchers, which obviously got the Rabble Rouser, Squig Herd, and Squig Hoppers as well. A special shout out to Nick True, a great human being all around. I don't think he can actually cast the Kronspine. I don't know if he can. Maybe he can. I don't. The Gobblepalooza can cast it. Maybe they're a wizard. Fantastic. Okay, we look at the. How did he do it? Such a great question. Let's look at the 4-1s. We can see that we have a list that is, I think, oh wow, we're all doing this apparently. Okay, it is an Eidolon Aspect to the Sea, a turtle, 2 reinforced units of Ishling Guard, and then it is a 2 Alapexes, and then maybe a unit of Reavers, or it's a reinforced unit of something else. I've done pretty well there, but that's also great too. Shout out to John. This might be the new format for doing lists. One of these two. Let me know. Also in the 4-1s is a Oracle War Clans list with a trophy finger. Manifestations of Gork and Walker. There's Kragnos, Breaker Boss and Maverick Troggoth, a reinforced unit of Gut Rippers, so-called Shaman, Manskill Gold Boys, Bolt Boys, sorry, that were reinforced, some Monster Killers, and then the regiment around the Hurtling Hogs with the Morgrunter Gougers and the Tuskboss and Morgrunter, which is a very popular regiment around right now. And then Christopher Kirshaw was running a list called Storm Fried Vegetables is my new mental. With a Sentinels Complete Sentinels list, and Ionis Cryptborn, Lord Terminus of Quicksilver Draft, 2 reinforced units, 1 of Prosecutors, 1 of Reclusians, and then a Vanguard Paladors with Starstrike Javelins. And then a Night Arcanum, Liberators, and Vigilers, which is great. Anyway, obviously, as you can see, a great group of people going and have a fun time at Trash Clash in the Bluegrass. I hope they had a fun time, and I hope they continue to have a fun time playing a hobby that is fun. Listen, I didn't know that with Best Coast pairings you could put pictures into GIFs or whatever into lists. And I need it to be known now, as the person that does the list every Monday, that I think really the only person that people are trying to mess up is me. So I'd like to actively discourage this from today. Okay, community, people watching this YouTube video, friends and family at home, I would like you to try to not do whatever the hell Taylor Bishop has done. This. I want none of this. Okay? Right? So please think about me in the future. Our next event takes us to Birmingham, Alabama, for an event organized by Dylan Foire called the Iron Brawl GT, presented by Boss Hogs. It takes place at Gear Gaming, which seems to be the perfect location ever for an American GT, or maybe the American GT, right next to the Tiger Rock Martial Arts Academy, near an Asian restaurant and a bunch of other great food and gaming nearby. Pretty solid spot, in my opinion, Gear Gaming. So again, if you're somewhere near Hoover, Alabama, and you want to go play some Warhammer, this seems like a great spot. It's got a lot of luminaries, this venue. So in first place, we've got 150 with Mike Maccabee with Maggotkin of Nurgle. He was running a Plague Cyst with the Aetherwort Machineries with the Glotkin, a Lord of Blights, a Rotbringer Sorcerer, 2 reinforced unit of Putrid Blight Kings, and a Harbinger of Decay, a Rotbringer Sorcerer, and another unit of Putrid Blight Kings. So very solid, very good. Mike's very good. He's got a great win rate all through AOS 4. Unsurprising to see him do well with an army that I think is solid. Moving into the 4-1s, we can see that Walter Brock, the Eternal, was running a Flesh Eater Courts Lords of the Manor list. He was running Ushran, a Marascal Herald, 2 reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights, a small unit of Morbeg Knights, a Borrant Cardinal, Morbeg Knights, Royal Beast Flayers, and a Royal Decapitator. I mean, there's not much to say about this at this point, but FEC, very solid. Frederick Schmidt was running a Skaven list called Visit Scour, running a Skaven list called I'm the Biggest Rat Who Gets to Make All the Rules. He's got the Claw Horde battle formation with Visit Scour, a Deathmaster, then 120 clan rats, and then a Grey Seer and 60 clan rats, taking us to 180 clan rats. But as we've seen previously, when you can bring 40 back as 20 from a Norhole, technically it's kind of pushes into the 200 clan rats. You get D3 clan rats back at the end of any turn, so it's even more clan rats. Very popular list right now, doing very, very well. Bradley Garrison was running a Sentinels of the Bleak Citadel list. He has a very long list name that started with, well, I'm going to tell you the best and worst thing you've ever heard. Heroes aren't born. You just go out there and you grind it out. Anyway, he's running a Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels list with a Lord Ferriton, Annihilators, a Lord Tormenos, and Reclusians, a reinforced unit. A Knight Relictor, a unit of Liberators, another unit of Liberators, and a unit of Vigilers. A Lord Celestial on Dracoth, and Annihilators, Dracothian Guard Concussors that were reinforced, and a Knight Velexer. Quite a different list, actually, here, which is very nice. Annihilators popping in with that little cheaper points cost, but loads of different stuff here. Very, very cool to see from Bradley. That's a very fun and interesting list. And then Jeremy Vines was running old Soulblight Gravelords, but was able to get a 4-1. Congratulations to him. Also got some great pictures from the event. Here you can see Mike, the winner, playing against Walter the Eternal. And you've got just the cutest face from our man, our judge, watching, making sure that the game is presented well. And everyone's played fairly. Here you can see a 40k player turned up and he was treated correctly. Anyway, a great group of people having loads of fun playing Warhammer. Again, is a story of the day. If you're over there and you can play, get out there and do so. Our next event takes us to the Wardrome AOS event organized by Jason Buck Shelton. This event is taking place in New Caney in Texas. At this big old industrial building here. It looks very nice. So, as we've said, there were, at this event, 21 players battling it out, and we've only got 150. Again, Magikin and Nurgle, run by Kel Pig. He was running a Plague Cyst with the Aetheraunt Machineries, with Rotigus, Sloppity Barpiper, Horticulate Slimmix, Reinforced Unit of Plague Bearers, Lord of Blights, and then 2 Reinforced Unit of Putrid Blight Kings and the Rotmire Creed. So a similar DPT check, those Blight Kings being very key to how successful Nurgle are, but big change up with having Rotigus, who's much cheaper now, Sloppity Barpiper as well. So that's very fun to see. Moving to the 4-1s, we can see Nate Adkins with a Stormcast Eternals list with Yanastra. This is the Lightning Echelon with Liberators, a Storm Coven, a Reinforced Unit of Stormdrake Guard, and Vanguard Paladors with Strike Javelins. And then a Knight Draconis, a single one in the list as well. So that's pretty interesting. The Stormdrake Guard are a big brick, and the Vanguard Paladors are very fast. But Liberator Storm Coven, you can kind of ask yourself, are they really doing much in this list? I guess they're trying to do tactics. And then the Yanastra. So it's a very fun, very different list. I really like that from Nate. Then there is a Sylvaneth Lords of the Clan list run by Dylan Rieger, also in the 4-1, called Morning Wood. The Lady of Vines, a reinforced unit of Kurnoth Hunters with Scythes, Belthanos, a reinforced unit of Kurnoth Hunters with Great Bows, Warsong Revenant, 2 units of Gossamer Archers, and Tree Revenants. And this is a common trend we've seen actually recently, where people are dropping a Lariel and instead they're going for more bodies on the board straight away, and they try to just push the speed over the line. They're trying to push all their resources over the line very quickly and just push the tempo very fast versus Sylvaneth, who are kind of really dependent on the tempo being not too fast so they can bring models back. So that's very, very cool to see. And then Devon Courtney with a list called Pigs and Stuff, running Godrak, 2 units of Gore Grunters, Kragnos, 2 more Grunter Gougers, and then a Tusk Boss on more Grunter, hitting a 4-1 with a pretty solid piggy list with Gordrak in there as well. Hope everyone had a good time. Let's go look at the next event. Our next event takes us to the USA, to Pennsylvania in Phoenixville. We're at Palladium Games, where they've got a 16-person Age of Sigmar GT. In first place, you got Thaddeus Babic of the bottom table bullies with a Sylvaneth list. Very popular this week, with a Lords of the Clan list with Morbid Conjuration, with Alariel, reinforced unit of Kurnoth Hunters with Greatswords, Spite Revenants, Belthanos, Kurnoth Hunters with Greatswords again, but not reinforced, and a Tree Lord. Very popular. Very different Sylvaneth list all week. All of this week, but still doing well. In the 4-1 section, we have Spencer Chateau with Broad Stomp. He was running King Broad, a Beast Smasher, a Man Crusher Gargant, a War Stomper Mega Gargant, and 3 Man Crusher Gargants. Excellent list, solid, does lots of damage, Scarlet Holloway, also in the 4-1 with Skaven of the Fleshmeld Menagerie with the Manifestations of Doom, with Visik Scour, 2 units of Clan Rats, Master Molder, 2 units of Rat Ogres that are reinforced, Greyseer, Blue Terror, and Hell Pit Abomination. Solid, loads of output. Rat Ogres are better than people give him credit for, in my opinion. Visik really coming to his own now. People have been painting it up and having a solid time. Anyway, I hope everyone had a really fun time at Palladium Games. Let's go look at the next event. Our next event takes us to England for the Pub Hammer Open 3. We've got 150 Russell Taylor with a Seraphon list. He was running a Eternal Starhost Seraphon list with a Slan, Engine of the Gods, reinforced unit Croak Warp Spawned, Source Astaroth Banner Bearer, and then Sking Starseer, Hunter Haunchy, 2 Rapton Chargers. Very different to the Croak version of this list we've seen previously. But still those big hammer units in Croak Warp Spawned, and the Engine of the Gods, obviously being able to heal and bring models back, which is pretty fun. So very cool and good for tactics. And in the 4-1, we got Paul Richards with a God's Wrath Warband, Slaves to Darkness, with Be'lakor, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, a Chaos Lord, and then Chaos Warriors three times reinforced, 60 Chaos Warriors. That's 120 wounds or 120 health on his 3-up save with a 5-up ward save potentially. And then also Be'lakor. Very difficult to get rid of. Very obnoxious. Well done, Paul. Our next event takes us to Spain for the Regne Mortal AOS event, located in Torrent, VC. And the only 5-0 that we've got at this event is J. Carlos Sanchez, again with Sons of Behemoth, with King Broad, Gatebreaker, a Gatebreaker again, and a Kraken Eater. They are definitely doing very well right now. Our next event is in Canada, in St. Catharines, Ontario. If you get the chance to go, organized by Josh Aikens. 14 players battled it out, but only one person with the 5-0. With the Heat Knights of Slaanesh, Connor Mitchell was running a list called Slaanesh Sister Wives. A bit uncomfortable, which is a Seeker Cavalcade list with the 8th Wrought Machineries, Shalaxi, reinforced unit of Bliss Barbs, and a reinforced unit of Slit Blades, a Keeper of Secrets, and 3 small units of Seekers in there. So the big 2 towers, the Shalaxi and the Keepers. Lots of shooting, lots of fighting. Fight twice also from Shalaxi. Bring models back from the Keepers, although I don't think there's anything to bring back because that's a purely demon thing. So shout out to Connor. That's fantastic. It's very nice to see. The only 4-1 was Ruben Parker with a Cruel Boys. By the way, this is the 3rd or 4th Cruel Boys list we've read out this week, with Manifestations of Gorka Morka in the Trophy Finger, Kragnos, Breaker Boss on My Brew, Gut Rippers, 1 reinforced, 1 not, Marsh Crawler Slogoth, Swamp Caller Shaman, and 2 Monster Killers. What's really fun about this is, again, Kragnos really supporting that portion of the army. Again, just being very, very effective in its force multiplication. Also, another great thing about going to this event, which is on every year, is you do get to go to a Canadian strip mall this time, slightly different to our American ones, but it is right next to Ricky's Jerk Van, which does some fantastic jerk chicken. So if you do get the chance to go there, please do. Our last event takes us to Germany for the Nordhammer event. We've got 2 4-1s here, 14 people battling it out. Lucas Harder with Idneth Deepkin was running the Keeling Beastmasters, Aspect to the Storm, Leviathan Reinforced Guard, and then Aspect to the Sea, Alapex, like I said, on that comeback, and then a small unit of Ishling Guard. And then Tobias Dreger was running a Sunclaw Starhost with Morbid Conjuration, and he had Lord Croak, 2 units of Lancers, not reinforced actually, Saurus Guard reinforced, which is pretty common now, and then a Slan. We're still on with Arcasotek, and the Hunters of Haunt You with Dark Pipes, and some Saurus Guard again. And some Saurus Warriors. Very common Seasaurus Guard now, but the Slann is very interesting in that kind of like dual approach. That's a lot to try to protect all at once, because both the Slans are very vulnerable to getting slapped. So that's very interesting to see. Lastly, we're going to look at the Australian Masters event, where it's an invitational where they get a load of people together that perform well over the season, and then they get put together and then they play. And the winner of the Masters event in Australia this year was Mitch Bugg with Sons of Behemoth. He was running a Take a Tribe list with King Brod, Beast Smasher Mega Gargant, Man Crusher, a War Stomper Mega Gargant, and 3 Man Crusher Mega Gargants. And that's it for this week. And a pretty eclectic bunch of armies. I think that's a fair thing to say. Gargants definitely on the rise. Skaven were really popular. We saw a lot of Cruel Boys and generally a lot of destruction. There were some notable destruction misses. Obviously, we didn't see many Gits as an example, but lots of Gargants, lots of Cruel Boys, lots of Kragnos, which was quite interesting. Again, just kind of as they have been for all of 4th edition, Idoneth Deepkin kind of just bubbling either in the 4-1s or 5-0s. Fire Slayers early was super interesting, and obviously very low pick rate. You don't see them very often. So when they do well. Stormcast, really the backbone of this game, as we have seen constantly now over the past year. Obviously, their pick rate is massive, as in how many times you see them at events, but also they're continuously doing well. Their list, though, super diverse roster, but not very diverse list. Although we started to see those Meteoric Grandhammers come back in, which is fun. Nice to see Khorne also on the ascendancy. Again, very different. Wrathmongers featuring and doing really well. And there was some nice like little bits here and there. Seraphon, Sanesh. I think we saw 1 Lumineth. So some nice and interesting stuff. Maggotkin also doing really solid. Now we're only a couple of months away from the new General's Handbook, which not only will give us a battle scroll update, but we'll also see a balance patch. We might see changes to manifestations, and we obviously will see a change to scoring, because we know battle tactics are changing. So right now it's a little bit difficult to necessarily predict the far future. And as we saw even from just those Wrathmongers, changes that were made at Christmas might only start to really impact the tabletop as people produce them and put them on the table up to 4 months later. But one of the things that we absolutely can talk about is how fun the community is. Like we said there, we had 400 people-ish playing over 14 events in 8 different countries. But obviously, countries like Australia, like New Zealand, New Zealand isn't very big, but like New Zealand is very far away. Australia is very big, and they're quite separated. America, very separated as well. And I think one of the things we're talking about is the decentralization of a lot of eventing. So you're not necessarily going to all these tentpole events, like these big single 200-300 person events. Instead, these little gaming communities of 20, 30, 40 people that are coming together. We saw that in Norway as well. Such a solid community. They've built up from much smaller numbers many years ago to really big, prestigious numbers now. You saw the same with Germany as well. We've got the Raccoon Rumble coming up, which again has just built its numbers up over the years. And those grassroots organizing, those small grassroots events are, in my opinion, legitimate Warhammer. They're just as legitimate as big tentpole events. I know obviously it's cool to go to a 200-point event on just 200-person event, and win it. But I think it's just as legitimate going and playing a bunch of killers at a small event and having a great time. I think it really has started to create a really fun atmosphere for all these different communities all around the world, connecting with each other online. I think that's really fun to see. So that's my takeaway from this week. Community is great. Everyone's having fun. Love to see it. Shout out to all of you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you to everyone in the chat and all the people who like send me info and photos and videos and stuff. It makes me feel connected to the community, which I love. So thanks very much. I'll see you soon.